Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you're ready for 5 tips that'll improve your squat instantly. I am going to break down this video's 5 tips into sections. The first section will be the low bar versus the high bar variations and which one is better for you, the squat setup, the execution, and common mistakes and how to fix them, and one common mobility restriction and how to fix it. Tip number 1, should you squat with a low bar or a high bar position? My girlfriend will be demoing the high bar position while I'll be demoing the low bar. With a high bar squat, your torso will be more vertical compared to your low bar squat. Your knee flexion will also be higher, thus meaning you'll put more of the load on your quads compared to your glutes and low back in a low bar squat. If your focus is quad hypertrophy, you should do mostly high bar squats. If your goal is to build your glutes and low back strength, do mostly low bar squats. But most people will likely be able to lift heavier weights in a low bar position. So whether you choose low bar or high bar, the golden rule is to make sure that the bar is staying over the middle of your foot. This will allow you to feel balanced and apply our pressure through the ground evenly through the foot. For this video today, I'll be going over my preferred low bar variation. Some of the same tips apply exactly to the high bar position. Tip number 2, the setup. Set up the hooks in the rack where the bar will line up at upper chest height. The bar position will be placed over your rear delts just above the spine of your scapula. This acts like a shelf for the bar. Hands will be placed as close as possible to your shoulders. This may not be comfortable for a lot of people with limited shoulder mobility, but generally getting your hands closer to your shoulders will lead to more upper back muscle activation, leading to increased stability. Your wrist should be in a neutral position, which allows you to actively push the bar into your back. Extended wrists will put the load of the bar on your elbow joint, sometimes creating pain. You know when you have done this setup right when squatting your forearms line up with your torso. When unracking the bar, make sure to unrack the bar by pushing your hips forward, lifting off the bar. Be sure not to squat the bar up with your knees, as it will use unnecessary energy. When walking out the bar, take no more than 3 tiny steps backwards. Your foot angle will largely depend on your anatomy, but for most people, a slight 15 to 50 degree foot flare is acceptable. Your stance width will be slightly wider than hip width. Again, this is a recommendation. Your stance will depend on your own hip anatomy. Section number 3, the execution. Before descending in the squat, you'll want to take a deep breath in and push your ribs down, simultaneously bracing like you're about to get punched. This creates pressure and stability in a 360 degree manner around your spine. When starting the descent of the squat, you will want to break at your hips and knees simultaneously. This allows for the bar to stay over the midfoot and travel the least distance possible. You will also want hip external rotation to occur. To do this, think about your feet gripping the floor and spreading the floor apart. Taking your feet and gripping and tearing the floor will allow your knees to travel outward in the same direction as your toes. You will hit sufficient depth in the squat when the crease of your hips crosses below the plane of your knees. Anything before this would not count in a powerlifting competition, as well as not providing a good hypertrophy effect. Getting deeper in the squat will provide significantly more glute and quad activation from doing, say, a quarter squat. Deeper is better as long as you can maintain a neutral spine. When driving out of the bottom of the squat, you'll think about pushing through your whole foot. Something called the tripod foot best exemplifies this idea. You want equal pressure through your pinky toe, big toe, and heel, causing optimal stability and force output. Then think about driving through your hips aggressively. You'll want to keep your back angle the same throughout the ascent or slightly more horizontal. This is a good way to tell if you're using your hips properly. A cue I like to use is try to have your chest pointing the same direction as your eye direction, as this will keep a more horizontal back angle. Looking straight ahead instead of down will sometimes cause you to lead with your chest out of the bottom of the squat. Having your chest and hips rise together will keep the bar over the midfoot. Section number 4, common mistakes and how to fix them. Mistake number 1, knee valgus. When squatting, you have to focus really hard on externally rotating the hips to help drive the knees out. So on the concentric and eccentric, keep actively driving your knees outward by gripping the floor. Mistake number 2, sitting back on your heels, or getting up on your toes with your heels popping off the ground. To fix this, we again want to keep in mind that tripod foot. Falling forward or back on your heels actually might have to do with the ankle mobility restriction that I will talk about at the end of the video. Mistake number 3, not keeping a neutral spine. Here I'll show you what to look out for when hitting great depth but losing spinal integrity, causing something called butt wink. At the bottom of the squat, sometimes your pelvis posteriorly tucks, causing the spine to go into flexion that can lead to much force on the low back. A little bit of butt wink is 100% okay and will not harm your back, but too much will put excessive forces on your low back. Mistake number 4, the good morning squat. This is where your hips rise excessively fast on the way up out of the bottom of the squat, which pushes the chest forward and throws you off balance and places excessive forces on your low back. To fix it, I like to use the cue chest up to tell my clients to keep their upper back tight and to not let the chest dip forward. An amazing way to fix this issue is 1.5 rep squats. So squatting all the way down, pausing at the bottom, and coming halfway up and pausing again before going back down, making sure to have the chest and the hips rise at the same time. Mistake number 5, not getting depth and going too heavy. I see lots of people load the bar up and do quarter squats. This is not doing anything to improve your skill in the squat. You're wasting your time as the benefits of the squat are stripped away without getting close to parallel. Doing light squats and working on form is extremely frustrating, I get it. But trust me, it will pay off in the long run. Section number 5, bad ankle mobility causing your squat to look like this. If you find you're falling forward in a squat as you get deeper trying to reach depth, your ankle might not be allowing for enough dorsiflexion, which is the action of your knee driving forward in a squat. A simple way to test if you have adequate ankle mobility is the 5-inch wall test. Place your foot about 5 inches from the wall. If you bend your knee forward while keeping your heel down and you can hit the wall, you have adequate ankle mobility for squatting. If you can't get your knee to touch the wall and you feel like a block sensation in the front of your ankle, try a banded joint mobilization drill. Take a band and place it around your talus bone, which is just lower than your malleolus or the bulge that sticks out on the side of your ankle. Drive your knee forward, holding for 5 seconds at a time. If you still don't get enough dorsiflexion from doing this drill, I suggest adding heel lifts to put in your shoes. I used Versa lifts for a while that you can just slide in your shoes, or you could use a weightlifting shoe that I now transition to with a higher heel lift, allowing for more dorsiflexion. Those were my 5 tips. If there's one thing that you're going to take away from this video is that it's going to take some time and you're going to have to be patient when trying to master your squat. If you want me to review your squat and help fix your technique, you can actually comment below or direct message me through my Instagram link, which is in my description box below. Okay, that's going to be it for today, guys. Please smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss another video. Catch you guys later.